Apartment business, the holy grail of real estate investing. You provide a place to live in exchange for money. And in this video, I will show you how to buy,
Wires are in, money's in, it's our property.
take over apartments, and how to increase cash flow. Step 1, find a deal. Before you find a deal, you gotta know your buying power. If you got
Okay, I saw this video pop in my timeline. I'm not too familiar with this guy, Ben, but it sounds like he's a pretty popular real estate investor, well known in the industry. I've watched maybe a video or two of his like several years ago. I think when Graham Stephan had him on back before he really took off. So I think his net worth is like $100 million or something like that. But anyway, I watched a few, like couple first minutes of this. And I'm like, oh, this might be a good video to react to because he goes into some detail on like buying large multifamily, like apartments and things of that nature. So I kind of wanted to spend some time and really talk about some of the nuance here. And this is what I always refer to as the business of real estate and learning like if you are looking to buy a larger apartment complex, something like that. I wouldn't encourage you to do that on your first deal, but maybe you have a few deals and you're like, how can I get to the next step? This is a good place to kind of like research and do some studying and stuff like that. Because remember, bigger is not always better. I've never owned an apartment building in my career. However, I've been worked for companies and been a part of the acquisitions team to where we've taken down some pretty big, large complexes, and I've also managed them as well. And I will tell you, they come with a different set of problems and headaches. But again, it depends on what you want to do. Uh, like one of my favorite content creators always says, there's no Dion talks. Yeah, Dion from Dion talks. He says, there's no uh th- there's no I'm gonna mess this up, but there's no wrong way to invest, but there's a right way for you or something like that. I don't know. But my point is don't think bigger is better. You always want to look at cash flow, yield. That's kind of what you want to train your brain to look at. Most people get caught up in, oh, I got 50 doors. Well, if you have 50 doors and you're broke and you're not cash flowing, and I don't mean broke like you personally, but I'm saying the asset is not performing, that's kind of defeats the purpose. I'd rather have 3 doors and be cash flowing every month than to have 50 doors and not cash flowing or cash flow are the same. I mean, obviously that would be a horrible deal, but you get the point. Okay, so let's break this video down. Just the first part. I'm not going to review the whole thing because it's about 20 minutes long, which is kind of long. But there are some takeaways I think we can all learn from this. So here we go. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.
got 100 grand, that'll get you a $500,000 deal. Typically, whatever your down payment is 20% of what you can spend.
That's generally correct. I want to stop it real quick just to say one more thing. When you are looking at these types of commercial, this is considered a commercial product, meaning like the lending side of it. They're not so much interested in you, meaning like you don't have to bring your credit to the table. They're more interested on the asset. So what's the asset going to kick off? Because if it has enough to cover your debt services, like your mortgage payment, taxes, insurance, all that expenses, and if that performs well, and that's called a cap rate, not going to get onto that unless he covers that. That's what they're concerned about, not so much on you. They're underwriting the asset, not you. And that's the biggest mindset difference from from residential to commercial. A residential side, 4 units and below, so a quad, tri, duplex, and a single family home, they're more interested in you bringing your credit, running your background, as opposed to a commercial side, they're more interested on the asset. Just wanted to make that distinction.
1 million will get you 5 million. 5 million will get you 25 million. I typically look at deals anywhere as low as 5 million to 50 million. We got a lead on an 88-unit apartment complex in Fort Myers, Florida. When you're first interested in a property, go to it, drive by it, check it out, get a feel for it. And this property here, I love it. It's a great neighborhood, the property's been well maintained, and basically, it needs a little love. But now, we gotta get it for the right price. It's all in the buy, baby. And when you want to buy, you're writing LOI.
Okay, so a couple things there. He's giving a lot of information actually right in the first part of this video. So I'm sorry for stopping this a lot, but there's so much meat here. We got to kind of dissect that a little bit before I let it play on. Um, okay, so number one, when he says clearly he knew his market, he knew his area, and that's the key. He knew when the deal came up, he saw it, and he was like, boom, you make a quick decision like, oh, that works. And when you're in that phase, I recommend, and this goes across the board, whether you're doing 2 units, 3 units, doesn't matter. You need to understand the market that you're looking to invest in. And if you don't understand that market, you need to hold off and pump the brakes a little bit. Let's say you haven't decided a market or your market's too expensive to invest in, then you need to figure that out first because you don't want to get into a situation to where you're just, I think I like this market because, some guy on YouTube said this is a good market. What works for someone else may not work for you, and they may have different goals. So you need to determine your goals, figure out what you're looking for, what asset class, right? And then once you determine that, I always recommend people to start in your backyard if you can. Some people live in very expensive, high cost of living areas, which is understandable. I come from a high cost of living area, so I understand that completely. Deals don't always pencil out, but real estate starts sometimes that back of the napkin math really quick to let you know how would you know that um your numbers look great or the deal works. Well, that takes time. And another person you guys should follow is Michael Zuber from One Rental at a Time. He talks about knowing your buy box and spending about 60 to 90 days just looking at deals, not doing anything, just studying your market. And what you want to do is you need to learn what things trade for, right? What are things selling for in that market? Same goes for if you're buying a car. You don't want to just get out there and buy a car. You want to look at, okay, what are the type of car that you're looking for within the range of year with the miles? What do those typically sell for? That's the only way you're going to know if it's a good deal or not. And so when something pops up, when you've been doing this for 60 days and you're like, the average home or the average property I'm looking at is about 500,000, and you see one that pops up for 450, 400, you're like, that's interesting. Let me look at that. And then you get it a little more down the road and you're like, oh, that popped up for actually, you know, 398. You're like, okay, this is getting better and better. So those are the things you start to see as you progress in. So take the time, understand your market that you are investing in. Sorry, my camera's doing some funny things right now. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so understand your market. Once you understand your market, the easiest market is the market you're already in. So you can drive that market. You can look at the area, see what grocery stores are nearby, see what, just get the feel of it. Is it a place that you would like to live? That's always like my metric. So get back into the video.
It's basically a one-page document. It's saying who the buyer is, who the seller is,
Wait, let me back
how
it up
much we're
just a
going to
little bit
pay.
here.
You want to buy, you're writing LOI.
That's right.
It's basically a one-page document. It's saying who the buyer is, who the seller is, how much we're going to pay, how much time we need to kick the tires and inspect it, and how much time we need to close. Clean and simple, baby. We wrote an LOI up for 10 million bucks, but after Ben Jr. and Vincent went out there and did their inspection and came back with things that needed to be addressed, we were able to negotiate it down to 9.5 million. Now we're taking over the property.
Yeah, so that's about right. Once you get a due diligence period, that's your chance to see what was really going on behind the curtain of the property on the physical exterior aspect of it and the interiors. Typically, you want to have your team in place, right? You want to have your contractor, you want to have plumbing contractor, you want to have electrical contractor, you want to have roofers. That's your core team, and you got to get on site. And you yourself need to be on site, looking at everything. That's the only thing you're going to catch stuff. But in the beginning, you want to be around trained people and professionals, and they're going to give you the best information. So that's typically what I'm used to. It's like you bring your whole team and you just do a massive, haul on the property.
To bring Aaron out here, since he just graduated high school, starting college soon, now we gotta get him in the business. Pops ain't letting him leave too far, and in order to do that, do just like I did. Take over apartment complexes, how to set up the utilities, how to take over the building, how to issue out tenant notices. He's gonna learn it all. You wanna know why? Because I don't wanna do this no more. I've been doing it for my dad for what, 20 years? It's time for my big young brother to take over.
There we go, first official takeover. Let's do it.
Hello, how you doing?
Hard to get off?
Oh, it looks like he's doing brakes. Okay. The original developer built this one, the first one, and then he moved in probably and started building this one and that one. This was his house. So my plan is to put a fence right here, go on the other side, throw another fence, and guess what? Now you have a backyard, a single family house that I can rent out $2,800. When we came on Wednesday of last week, we asked him to get everything out of the house. We told him that we had staff moving in there temporarily because they're not able to move into his apartment. But all the stuff is still in the apartment. Everything is the exact same as it was on Wednesday. There's nothing that's changed. All of this stuff is gotta get out of here. Everything moves slow around here.
This is a common thing that you'll find out, especially with smaller operators. They run it, they call them mom and pop investors. And those are the people that you actually want to buy from because they're not sophisticated. They haven't, progressed in the business, and they don't understand the nuances and how to make it profitable. Oftentimes you're not buying something that's make ready or not make ready, but turnkey, and you're buying a problem. But that's okay because in problems is where the money lies. So anytime you drive up and you see things like this happening, like he automatically knew what he could rent that house for on the property, $2,800. That's what I mean by knowing your numbers. But you can walk in and see, like, clearly they just been using that as storage or whatever. But those are things that you got to keep an eye out for, and that just takes years of time. And this is, again, these principles apply to any form of real estate, whether it be a single family home to an apartment complex. It does not matter. These principles apply.
This is why we need to get it moving
Hit the like
fast.
button.
We're gonna put some Ben Mala in this property. So now I gotta bring my staff in here and knock it out. So Aaron, I hope you brought the muscles with you today, because I need you to move some furniture with Will and them when they get here. Aaron is gonna go sit with Cindy and figure out exactly who owes what, because their system is a little antiquated. It is, Cindy's brain is the computer here. So we have to extract that data from her brain right now and put it on paper. If they would have had base lane on this property, I wouldn't have to do any of this stuff.
Okay. Once you get into the weeds of the property, like the files, the leases, and you're cleaning up that is where you can really, that's where your bread and butter is. Because if you get those leases tight, the paperwork tight, you've just increased the value of the asset. Because you can make, if rents, let's just say all the rents were under market by a couple $100, and within 2-3 years time, well, you've got them all at or slightly above market. And of course you've had to turn some units and have some natural turnover, and you can, as you turn them over, you can able to go in and renovate. And we're not talking, don't think, when you think renovation, don't think HGTV. Not in apartments, doesn't work like that. We're talking updated vinyl floors or updated appliance packages and paint, just whitewash it, make it clean and bright. Maybe you change out a light fixture or two. Maybe get some standardized stuff. And the beauty about this is when you start doing multiples, it actually gets cheaper. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not like cheaper than a single family home. However, it's cheaper in regards to if you had like three fourplexes or something like that, and you had to do a renovation, you can bulk order. When you bulk order, it just saves you so much money and time, and you can have a crew come in and just knock it out pretty quickly. But I say all that to say, going through those files, seeing who the delinquent payers are, cleaning all that stuff up, moving people out if they need to, that is where the money is made. And then once you get that asset nice and tight, now you can go back to the lender because you've increased the value now over these 2 3 years, whatever it is. And you could do a cash out refinance. And then once you do the cash out refinance, you stabilize the property. And now you can take that, pay your original equity or your original down out. If you have partners, you could do a distribution to those partners and pay some of them off or whatever you choose to do and take that equity and go roll that into another deal. And that's how the game is played in real estate. You're doing the multiples, right? The leveraging. You can leverage assets to get other assets to leverage those, and you just keep going and going and going. This is how a lot of these guys do it. And over time, the tenants are paying it down, and you're maintaining the property, and eventually, maybe you start paying off partners, and you absorb more ownership. It's a beautiful game once you know how to play it and once you know how to do it the right way. But it all starts again with those fundamentals that are really in the first couple minutes of this video. Video's getting kind of long. I'm not going to review the whole thing, but I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can go if you were curious and watch the whole thing. But I just wanted to kind of cover the first couple minutes here because I thought it was really good information packed right in the beginning. So don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.